Hello, children, good morning and welcome back. How are you? I think you are fine. The weather is changing. There is a bit of chill in the morning air, which is very pleasant. Today is October 27th. So, at this time of the year, the weather becomes very pleasant. There is no rain, but the sun also doesn't come out so harshly on us. The wind is a bit colder as compared to the wind in the month of September. So it's very pleasant. No much sweating, though it is not cold, but it is pleasant at this time of the year. Very pleasant. But one thing, during the change in season, most people they fall sick because the temperature changes very frequently. So people fall sick. Mostly children, they develop cough and cold. So you have to be very careful and you have to take etiquette precaution while you go out at night. So especially on bikes, you have to be very careful. You have to eat healthy food to increase your immunity. This is the time when you catch cough and cold due to certain virus who are very active. Not coronavirus, no, the normal flu virus. They are very active during this season. But over and above, the most dangerous part is that we are seeing some cases of dengue and malaria also. You have to be very careful about that. Please ensure that you don't get any mosquito bite, because if you get mosquito bite, sometimes if the mosquito is of a particular type, like if it is anopheles or it is Aedes aegypti, then you may contract either malaria or dengue, which is not good. So be very careful that you don't pick up such diseases. There are very simple steps to prevent these diseases. Do not allow water to accumulate around your place. Clean all the places where water accumulates. Especially in the evening, keep the doors and windows closed so that the mosquitoes do not enter. If you go out in the evening when it is just going to be dark, you put on your full pants and full sleeve shirts so that mosquitoes cannot bite you. Use roll-ons or mosquito preventive oils, and at night when you sleep, you use a mosquito net so that you don't get mosquito bite. These are tips which can save you from mosquito bite, and thus they can save you from these diseases like malaria and dengue. These are not good diseases, they harm you, so be very careful. And we can avoid these diseases. Coronavirus we can avoid, but the infection rate is very high. But for malaria and dengue, it is a vector-borne disease. We can avoid this disease if we take adequate precautions. That's what I had to tell you about malaria and dengue, because we are so worried about coronavirus that we are not giving due attention to other diseases actually which are seen or which are experienced during this time of the year. So we should be very careful. Okay. Anyway, the weather is very fine and we are reading about the weather only, and weather and climate. So today let us see what we have to read about weather and climate. Yesterday we have read about the torrid zone. Torrid zone lies on both sides of the equator. As I said, 22.5 degrees above the equator, that is towards the north, that is a tropic of Capricorn, and 22.5 degrees the 22.5 degrees towards the north from the equator is the tropic of Cancer, and 22.5 degrees towards the south of the equator is the tropic of Capricorn. So this area or this zone is known as the torrid zone. Here the weather is hot and humid. Let us see about the other zones. Temperate zone. what happens in the temperate zone. First of all, let us see in the diagram. See, we have two temperate zones. One is in the north, one is in the south. It's a yellow color. In the north, the temperate zone is called North Temperate Zone, and in the south, the temperate zone is called South Temperate Zone. Let us see what happens in the temperate zone. The temperate zone lies between the torrid zone and the frigid zone. Just see. This is a torrid zone and this is a frigid zone. The temperate zone is between the torrid zone and the frigid zone. So it is not as hot and humid like in the torrid zone. It is not as cold as in the frigid zone. The temperate zone lies between the torrid zone and the frigid zone in both the hemispheres. What do you mean by hemisphere? This is a sphere. Earth is a sphere, just like a ball. It is a sphere. Half of the sphere is known as hemisphere. Equator divides the Earth into two halves. So each half is known as a hemisphere. This is the northern hemisphere from the equator to the north, and from the equator to the south is known as the southern hemisphere. So hemisphere means half of the sphere. Half sphere is known as hemisphere. Thus, two temperate zones are found on Earth. In the northern hemisphere, the temperate zone lies between Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle. Let us see. As I said, 22.5 degrees towards the north of equator lies the Tropic of Cancer. From there up to the Arctic Circle, this zone is known as a North Temperate Zone. And from the equator, 22.5 degrees up to 22.5 degrees south is the Tropic of Capricorn. From the Tropic of Capricorn to the Antarctic Circle or the South Frigid Zone lies the South Temperate Zone. This temperate zone is also called the North Temperate Zone. In the southern hemisphere, the zone lies between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle. So, Arctic Circle is in the north, Antarctic Circle is in the south. This temperate zone is also called the South Temperate Zone. These zones are neither very hot nor very cold, as they are away from the equator as well as from the poles. See, they are away from the equator and they are away from the poles also. Away from the poles also. Away from the equator. So these zones are neither very cold nor very hot. Whereas here, frigid zone, the zone in the Arctic Circle and the zone in the Antarctic Circle are very, very cold. There is snow or ice throughout the year. Now, what is frigid zone? Like the temperate zones, two frigid zones are found on the Earth. The North Frigid Zone lies between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole, while the South Frigid Zone lies between the Antarctic Circle and the South Pole. These zones receive slanting rays from the sun. They remain very cold throughout the year. North Frigid Zone between the pole and the north pole and the Arctic Circle. Between the pole and Arctic Circle, this zone is known as the North Frigid Zone. Between the South Pole and the South Arctic Circle, Antarctic Circle, this zone is known as the South Frigid Zone. Between the South Pole and the Antarctic Circle, the zone is known as South Frigid Zone. These zones receive slanting rays from the sun. See, slanting rays, not direct, slanting. Here it is falling directly on the earth. Here it is slanting because due to the curvature of the earth, here the rays are slanting. It is not reaching directly, not directly like this. It is slanting. So this area is very, very cold throughout the year. Now, one thing you might have heard as far as the poles are concerned, in the poles it is so cold, there are the residents of the polar region are known as Eskimos. What type of house they prepare? They construct igloos, and igloos are made of snow. They make house of ice, made of ice, so that the inside of the house remains warmer than the outside. Very interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. I have visited places where the temperature is up to minus 35, 36 degrees Celsius. Throughout the year, the temperature does not come below minus 15 degrees. I have visited such places. It is snow everywhere, wherever you find. You cannot see normal land. But the area in the poles are colder than these regions also. Even then, people go to the Antarctic to explore many things. The scientists also go to the Antarctic area to carry out research in the Antarctic area. So, human beings, they reach everywhere to find out the fact of the earth. What is there below the Antarctic region? What is there in the Arctic region? What is there in the desert region? Everything they try to find out. That's the reason they could find that below the earth so much of petroleum, that is crude oil, is available. So much coal is available, gold is available, diamond is available. It is due to the human being, due to the human being's quest for knowledge, that they could find out such things which are hidden so deep into the earth. Anyway, today only this much. Next class we'll go through the question answers. Just again, I'll go through certain words that you should know. Just a second. Words to know. Humidity. Amount of water vapor present in the air. This is known as humidity. Weather station. A place where the weather conditions are continuously observed and recorded. Thunderstorm. A storm accompanied by thunder, lightning and heavy rainfall. Altitude. Height of a place above the mean sea level. Moderate climate. Neither very hot nor very cold. Sea breeze. Cool wind which blows from sea to land during the day in the coastal areas. Land breeze. Cool wind which blows from the land to sea during the night in the coastal areas. Moisture. Water vapor. These are the words that we should know. So, today up to this much only. We'll discuss the question answers in the next class. Okay, children? Bye then.